Welcome back to the second show, guys. It is me, 8744 Extra. And today, guys, I'm going to give you guys my review of Season 2 of Squid Games, guys. This will be a spoiler-filled review. I will be going into details of the season, so if you have not seen the season, please do not watch this video because I will be spoiling large parts of this. So, is this season better than Season 1? That's probably the question that most of you guys are probably wondering. There are some aspects I like this season compared to Season 1. There are some aspects I don't like. Overall, though, it's not as good as the first season. And part of the reason why I like Season 1 more than Season 2 is because of the structure. Season 1 had 6 different games. The red light, green light, the Daglano one game where you make shapes, the third one, tug of war, fourth one, marble game, the fifth one, the glass game, the sixth one, obviously be the finale, the Squid Games itself. Whereas in season 2, it's 3 games. The first one, pretty much the repeat of the first game. And in the second game is pentathlon. The pentathlon is called, and the third one obviously being the Mingle Challenge. Now, I will admit, the second season does the games in a better, larger aspects, and that is something that I did find very interesting. But I still feel like for me, which games I prefer more, I feel like the first games were more simple and more fun. The second game I will give was more interesting, you could maybe say, but in terms of like large scale, I just didn't think it hit the same. So for me, I prefer the season 1 games over season 2. Another thing is the 001. Once again, 001 is not the person you want to be with because 001 in the first game was obviously the old man, and the second one was pretty much the front guy in the first game season. And already there were signs apparent throughout the season if you were paying attention closely. Obviously, he killed someone in the Mingle game. Then obviously he also voted to initially stay at the beginning, and then obviously you saw the end. He betrayed 456 and his friends. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting. My biggest issue I have with this season is particularly the fact that I feel like the pacing of the season just doesn't hit the same. Like a lot of these episodes were largely about talking, talking, talking. We didn't really see that much of the games itself, which was something that I found was very underwhelming in this season. And I remember I said this before, and I don't know if I said this before on the YouTube channel. I personally feel like we didn't need a season 2. And just because season 1 worked out amazing doesn't necessarily mean you need a season 2. So just for me, it just didn't really like. I'm glad that the season 2 isn't a rehash of the first season, which was great to see. At least they didn't copy all the same games, but it largely feels very unnecessary. Like, like this season, this season is good. Like I said, there were characters I did enjoy. Like for me, that Thanos character I really enjoyed. That was fun. I also enjoyed the player 222. I thought she was pretty cool. The whole being her pregnant story. Then obviously they got the trans girl there. That was pretty cool. And then obviously the 001 was also cool. And I also like 390 as well. There were a few characters I really did enjoy. Probably a bit more than first season. But I still feel like this season for me, I still feel like this season didn't really need a sequel. Like, and I think this is part of things we have to realize in life. Just because the first thing works out so amazing doesn't necessarily mean you need a second of it. Now, it's great and all if you can get a second. A second one is always good to have. But at the end of the day, it's not necessary. Sometimes things are just better off with one season. And I really did feel like Squid Games didn't really need a season 2. And you're seeing the effects for me and this one. We have to talk about the ending, guys. The ending of season 2. I like the final episode itself. I think the final episode was great. It was fantastic in terms of fighting, and I like the players revolting against each other, the betrayal, and them going up against the creators themselves was very cool. And it was also there was so much fighting in between. But my issue is that ending, bro. Like, what happened in the end? Who won? Like, that's what we're very unclear of. And to me, I like the fact that they did the final episode such a different way. Because obviously, the final episode, if we had gone the traditional path, we would have had 3 games. But obviously, you couldn't really do 3 games in one episode. Like, that obviously isn't going to happen. So they had to come up with something. And them fighting amongst each other was very interesting. You saw the brawl with one another. They encouraged that, which was cool. And another thing I also liked about the season more was that there felt like this sense of justice. Like we worked together. I think that was something that we didn't really see a lot in season 1, is that people are working together more. And season one, it was kind of there, but it wasn't really as strong as this season. I feel like this season, teamwork was more built upon in this season, and I think that was something very interesting. And them constantly having to vote after every single game, that kind of was interesting for the plot. And yeah, I just think it was a very interesting way to end. So obviously, I'm assuming that obviously we now know that season three will kick off next year, guys. Well, actually this year. Sorry, what should I say? And we're gonna find out. I believe it's gonna premiere in July, and it's gonna kick off right after season two ends. So I guess we'll find out how season. I guess we'll find out who really wins, and that hopefully should be the final season of Squid Game. So, like I said, there are some aspects I like. Like I said, I do like some of the characters a bit more in this season compared to previous season, and I did like the fact that there was more teamwork built, more characters ethos was there. But I still believe the first season was better in terms of structure, in terms of pacing, in terms of the games, and in terms of a clear story. I feel like season one just had a far better story than this season, and I feel like this season just doesn't work as well as the first season. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like I said, guys, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. And once again, guys, this is a spoiler review. So if you have not seen the season, please do not watch the video because I have spoiled pretty much majority of it for you. And one last thing before I round off, guys, the ending was crazy. Player 456 seeing his friend 390 die. Oh, that was crazy. That was crazy. And also player 001, man. That guy was brutal, man. Brutal, brutal. Oh, and also, I forgot to mention, guys, I also like player 007 and his mother. That was also pretty cool. Anyways, hope you guys did enjoy, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below.